Hey guys, Dave here with something really cool. I've known that this has been coming, and you guys might wonder why you're looking at a ad for Cakesafe.com. How does that fall into the modeling category? Has he decided to start doing cakes? No. I actually saw a advertisement on a really cool product that piqued my interest on one, how it worked, and how efficient it was. And I contacted the company, and the owner is a really great guy. Actually, he and his wife, and they own Cakesafe.com. Now, they're actually known for creating cases for transporting some large cakes, such as wedding cakes, things like that. They've actually been featured on Food Network and a couple of shows on there, or at least their products have been. So, after some discussion, the owner was nice enough to send me a demo of their product, and hopefully I will be doing something here shortly to show you. But let me back up and let you see. This is actually, and it's kind of big, but this is actually a spray booth. This really piqued my interest, especially when you're conserving space, and and I was really curious on how it ended up working, because most of the spray booths you end up seeing they draw straight back. Now, this is their flyer. Make sure, go over, say hi, tell them that you saw the ad or their products on my page. Let them know. But they actually do make regular back panel spray booths, and they actually have, it's a really cool feature. They're modular, so you can start out with a small one, and then as your projects get bigger or you get more money, you can upgrade. You can even do larger ones. And I actually saw a photo of the 36-inch one, and you could easily build a perfect grade Gundam standing straight up, or a full 1/4 scale figure standing straight up all together. And that's something that you can't really do with a lot of the regular spray booths that are out. Now, here are some statistics on the unit itself. And I apologize if everything's a little shaky. I'm trying not to be. So anyway, this is presented by Cakesafe.com. It features a 9x2 working area, which is this area here. It's low profile, so it's only 3 inches tall. So it's really convenient. You could actually leave this on your desk, push it back. It's got a great tabletop area up here, so you could do such as putting something like that on there, or your parts as you have them drying. You could have them up there just curing. The full measurements of it is it's 16.5 inches deep by 20 inches wide. It's powered by one motor, which produces 240 CFM, that's cubic feet per minute. And it actually puts out more air than my big spray booth that I made, which I'm really impressed with. It only uses 42 watts of power, which is actually really low. It comes with 3 media filters. I count this as, at least in our hobby, as a media filter. And it is one black coarse, which of course is this one, and one Merv 8 filter, which is this one. And I'll actually pop them out here in a minute and show you the inside and the filters themselves and how they go in. But the Merv 8 is a mechanical, not electrostatical. It has low resistance to airflow, so it's not going to cut down on your airflow. A lot of the spray booths that I have messed with, they actually, once you put filters in to try and pull out particles and stuff, it actually cuts down a lot of the airflow. Underneath that is a Merv 13, which I'm really impressed with something like this. Though if you're doing cakes and things like that, it's very practical because you don't want any mold, anything building up on inside the unit. So that part, it completely makes sense. With the Merv 13, it's virtually 100% efficient in removing particles down to 1 micron. So it can actually remove particles as small as mold and bacteria, which is really great. Technically, if you wanted, you could have this running, as an air filter in your hobby room. For those of us that have some breathing problems, especially when working with resin. I'm going to get to that portion a little bit later. It only weighs 13.5 pounds, so that makes it really easy if you don't have a lot of space to store it in, to move it around. You can store it on its side, you can store it in the closet. If you're like me and maybe you go to a show or something like that and you set up a small table and you're doing something on it, you could use it for that. Something I'm kind of curious about, though I would change this to something a little bit finer, is like with me, I work with a lot of resin, and it gets everywhere, I swear. And this would come in really handy for the resin dust, but like I said, a finer material, even like a cloth material. So you could be working over this area with it on, and it would actually draw the resin dust, the particles, everything else to it, instead of it just going flying everywhere. And with it being the low profile and the bottom filters and everything, this just makes it so much easier. I actually do use my paint booth once in a while when I'm doing a lot of grinding or a lot of sanding, and to keep the debris from flying everywhere. But this will actually work a lot better. So hold on one second and I will be right back. I need to pull this panel off. That way I can pull out the filters and show you guys. Okay guys, so back again. I've gotten the screws loose for the lip that holds in the filters. One of the things that I really noticed was on the Kodo Ale is there is a good amount of dust, resin dust that is on it. I was saying earlier how it gets everywhere, and I think that this would be great for people that work on that to help keep it down. And that just proof, because I actually keep her probably a good 15 feet away from where I ever end up doing any grinding and heavy duty sanding, stuff like that on my resin. And as you can see, that's probably 3, maybe 4 months worth. Yes, I'm not the greatest person about going along and keeping all my figures and stuff dusted. Technically, I probably should come through here about every 6 months with a leaf blower just to keep it all down. I would never be able to work on anything if I just concentrated on keeping everything clean. So, back to this. With the screws loose, you remove this lip. You've got the top media panel on here. You just pull that off. Slide out your first filter, which is your Merv 8. This is for removing all the larger particles and everything. Once it gets pretty clogged, depending on what you're doing, you can come by with a vacuum and remove all the dust particles, or take it outside and blow it out. So you've got that one. Underneath it is your Merv 13, super fine particles. on here. Same thing, but most of what's going to end up getting on here is the last of the residue from your paint, from your overspray and everything. Now, as it is with this booth right now, it's recommended only for doing on acrylics, water-based, things like that. Because if you're doing acrylics, you really need to vent this outside. And talking to the owner, Scott, he's actually in process of designing one that has an outlet where you could vent it outside. I don't know if he's changing the motor. Personally, myself, because I did kick it on and was messing around with it before I showed you guys, I don't think it really needs it. The motor seems pretty strong as it is, so I don't know if it really needs a stronger one. But, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he comes up with for the one that you can do like lacquers and heavier duty, especially heavy fumed paints. So once you get the filters out, you've actually got this rubber gasket that's in here to seal in the filters. Your air comes in and gets sucked through the back up in here, and there is a chamber in here, so it's going to swirl it in and then out. So we'll replace back in the filters. And with the rubber gasket, it is kind of a tight fit, but you do want one that's in there. Replacement filters you can actually get from Cakesafe. They actually have them that you can purchase. Though, you know, I'll really have to test this out and try it out to see how long, but a filter should last quite a while on this. I think on my big one, I only have to replace it, like, if I'm really heavy duty painting, like once a year maybe. Even then, I don't even really have to do that. I just do it because it's dirty. But on it, I've got regular standard like filters that you can go to Home Depot and get on there. Now, one of the things that I did notice on here is if you're working with something heavy, you might use a piece of acetate or plow plate, something like that, just as a stable base. You know, you can cut it any size you want, whether it be a square, circle, something like that, for your piece to sit on, so that it doesn't wobble around. Like if you do it on there, you can see with that, so you're going to get some divots in there. And that's just a personal suggestion of mine to you guys. And make sure if you do that, not to don't cover a big chunk of the surface area, because that's going to, one, cut down the airflow, and two, it's going to put strain on the fan itself. So we've got that in. I'll replace the rest of the screws here in a little bit. So I'm actually going to take and flip up like so that you guys can see the bottom. And you can see the screws for the placing of the barriers that are inside, and then the back wall. It's got 3 rubber feet on the bottom of it. Testing it out, it actually had low vibration, which was very nice. And you've got the fan back here, and like I said, it is a good size fan. And I will kick it on with, actually I'll kick it on the other way. So I'm actually going to kick it on so you can hear it. Now it's not that loud, not to me, compared to my other one. It is a little bit louder because it's pushing up against the wall, it's reverberating back, things like that, but it's actually not that bad. I can hear perfectly fine, especially if I have my music playing and everything, but like I said, it's going to be a lot louder to you guys because the mic is picking it up. But, well, you see, that actually has very good suction power to it. And I'm actually going to do another demonstration here in a second. So yet again, we will be back. I know this is a long video, but I think it kind of deserves it. So hold on 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I'm back, and my demonstration is, let's see if we can actually catch it. You can actually see I am probably a good almost 2 feet away from it. This is just the incense stick, and you can actually see all the way from here it's being drawn to the booth. So anything that's drifting up and around, it's actually being sucked to it. And I turned down some lights so that you could actually see the smoke and the suction effect. So this is probably, I want to say, about 6 inches high off the thing, and you can see it's being forcefully sucked down. But you know, my concern with painting was overspray going straight down, and it actually doesn't. It actually goes down and to the back, which is great. So if you're spraying from here, you don't have to worry about that. And that was one of my curiosities on how this ended up working. Was, did it blow it straight, suck it straight down, and what are the effects? And if you're painting a figure or something that's all together, and you're painting the top, what's to keep the overspray from hitting the feet? So we're going to test that later on. That's another video, but I thought I'd show you. And you get even suction. One of the things, you get pretty much even suction. I think it's darker over here. All the way around. This, it kind of sucks to the middle, but it still sucks to the back and the middle in there. But so far, I am extremely impressed. Even up a good 12 inches or more off of it, it's getting good suction down. And that's what you really want when you're painting. Especially, you don't want overspray going everywhere. You don't want fumes going everywhere. And you don't want your wife trying to kick you in the head because you're making a mess. And with all the filters, even if you have it like I'm keeping it right now, you won't get color spray on the back of the wall from leftover, paint residue that didn't get caught in the filters. I've done that with my other one. So, and actually this is strong enough, it's actually, even holding it there, it's sucking, trying to suck the ash off into there. So we will we'll remove that. So anyway, guys, I would let you know, show you, stay tuned. I'm going to be doing more stuff, what I can do with acrylics on it. I do use acrylics on my figures. I might, with permission, modify it to do, hook up a hose to be able to vent it outside and use it for my Playmo color or my Mr. Hobby color. But other than that, stop by, say hi to Scott over at Cakesafe.com, check out their site, check out some of their other things. Another thing I'm actually ordering some of is they have cake turners or cake plates that rotate, and they make them in different sizes, and they look really well made, and so I'm actually picking up a couple of those next month, so I'll let you guys see those. They'll come in real handy, and the smaller ones actually look like they'd work really well using on here for when you're painting. That way you can rotate it, you can rotate your piece as you're cutting it, you don't have to be holding it all the time. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. leave comments and likes below to let them know that when you're watching it and you're interested in their product. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a great one.